Hey everyone, Mr. Sujano here, your source for gaming tech, emulation, and open source news. Let's get started. Alright, to kick things off, it's another absolutely gorgeous day. Oh, kinda. I'm gonna try to squeeze this video in before we get absolutely soaked. It is calling for a whole ton of rain. There's already thunder out there, and well, we've got some news to talk about, so let's get through it. So first up on the docket, we're talking about Nintendo and Palworld and the whole Pokemon versus Palworld lawsuit. And this is being reported up on Video Games Chronicle. Palworld lawsuit nears end, with Nintendo reportedly poised to gain almost nothing. Now, based on my understanding, the court presentation is scheduled for October 1st, which is a little ways away. I wanted to say a lot of ways away, but it's really not. This year's kind of flying by. I mean, we're already mid-June. Anyways, here, taking a look, there's also information upon GameSpray. If you are interested and wanted to learn more about any of it, like everything we talk about, links are within that GitHub link in the bottom of the description below. I don't hide my sources. Anyways, here, listen to this statement. This litigation is no longer about anything serious in commercial terms. It's about a hypothetical injunction that doesn't apply to current product versions, and if anything, a small damages award for a period during which Pocket Pair generated limited new sales in Japan. And it seems it's going to be potentially $30,000, and that's it. So obviously we're going to have to wait to see what happens moving forward here, but well, I'm not a lawyer. This is not legal advice. It's just my opinion. I would say this is really not a good look for Nintendo, and Nintendo kind of did it to themselves. I mean, if they win, and they only win $30,000, I don't even know if that's going to cover their legal fees. And if they don't win, well, I guess even if they win or don't win, if it's just $30,000, I would say reputationally, I mean, they did it to themselves, raising a lawsuit and not winning that lawsuit. I would say that's not a good look for Nintendo overall. I'd say this lawsuit in and of itself is not a good look for Nintendo overall. And this may be a huge crack in the legal armor, arguably, that Nintendo perceivably has. And speaking about Nintendo, kinda. Next up, we're talking about Nintendo GameCube and Wii emulation with Gecko. For those who are unaware, we've talked about Gecko before, but it's a fairly new Nintendo GameCube and Wii emulator written in Rust. And it just got a brand new update with some brand new features. So taking a look, they say this release adds full controller support, a new SDL-based input crate with GameCube and Wii mappings, motion and IR pointer, internal resolution upscaling, memory card support, and a complete FIFO debugger. It also lands many game-specific fixes, for example, Donkey Kong Country, New Super Mario Bros., another Code R, and many more. And speaking about emulation, and really cheap segues, next up we're talking about EmuHub. EmuHub is a brand new Android app. They say it's a turnip and DXVK driver manager for Android. It is open source, it's up on GitHub, and it just got a pretty early release. So taking a look up on GitHub here, an EmuHub version 0.1 alpha is their first public release. It is labeled as a pre-release, so there may be bugs and issues. Considering it's an alpha, I would expect bugs and issues. Anyways here, what's included? Device detection, shows Android version, total RAM, GPU model, and Adreno series. And I just walked through a whole bunch of spider webs on top of that. Taking a look here, it seems to make things easy for people who have Snapdragon devices looking for those custom drivers as for what's working and what's not. If you are interested in this one and wanted to learn more about it, again, you know where the links are. And speaking about interesting tools, next up here, we're talking about cheat patchers. And there appear to be a couple of new-ish cheat patchers that have surfaced on GitHub. One is for GBA and the other one is for SNES. So one of them here is called GBA Cheat Patcher Studio, and GBA Cheat Patcher Studio is a desktop tool for patching supported codebreaker cheats directly into Game Boy Advance ROM backups. So I guess if you wanted baked-in cheats, this might be of interest. And the second one here is SNES Cheat Patcher, and they say SNES Cheat Patcher Studio is a desktop application that permanently applies supported Game Genie cheats to legally obtained SNES ROMs backups. So it seems as if, again, you want permanent cheats enabled in ROMs. This might be of interest. And speaking about ROM patching, next up we're talking about CHDroid. For those who are unaware, I just walked through some more spiderwebs, and also here, CHDroid is for Android. It's meant for converting, extracting, repackaging, verifying, and managing game ROMs into the CHD format, all directly on an Android device. and it just got a brand new update that does introduce ROM patching. So at the time of filming, CHDroid version 1.1.2 is the latest and greatest update. It is worth pointing out that ROM patching is currently in beta and may be broken, may have issues with it, may not be perfect just yet. And speaking about issues, but arguably in a much different light, next up we're talking about Arch Linux, by the way. And if you use Arch, this is not good news at all. This is not good news in general. It's being reported in a bunch of different places. I think Gaming on Linux does a great job in summing things up. And it has been confirmed by Arch. So listen to this headline. The Arch Linux AUR had over 400 packages compromised with malware. And for those wondering, here's the official statement from the Arch Linux team. We are currently experiencing a high volume of malicious package adoptions and updates in the Arch user repository. We are actively working to track down existing malicious commits and attempting to prevent additional malicious commits from being pushed. While this is happening, and while we work to create a more permanent solution, users may see issues with the following: creating new accounts on the AUR, pushing package updates, adopting or creating new packages. So hopefully they get a handle on this one fairly soon, but at the same time here, if you are on Arch, I would argue to exercise caution. If you are using the AUR, if you have recently installed stuff from the AUR, you might want to take a second look at it to make sure everything's okay. And speaking about things being okay, but arguably in a much better light, next up we're talking about PlayStation 2 emulation on iOS with ARMSX2. And ARMSX2 on iOS keeps making improvements in leaps and bounds here, and they've just released version 2.2.1. So in this update, there's a whole bunch of fixes. There's performance improvements, better game compatibility, and even more. Midnight Club 3 graphical smoke issue in the garage has been fixed. Further ARM64EE performance improvements, potential fix for Silent Hill 2 graphical issues at the intro, and even more stuff. And speaking about even more stuff, next up we're talking about Tico. For those who are unaware, Tico is a front end for the Nintendo Switch. Yes, you heard that right. It's designed to run on the Switch. We've talked about Tico in previous videos, and they've just released version 0.7.3, which introduces support for even more stuff. It introduces support for Atomiswave and Naomi. So they say here you can now launch Atomiswave and Naomi arcade games directly through Tico. And there's also now cover compressor for existing covers, and Flycast has been updated to version 2.6 plus. And there's now better performance here, bug fixes, and even more. Next up here, we're switching from software to hardware and talking about the Steam Machine. And holy smokes, are the rumors starting to swirl here, but the latest ones in regards to the Steam Machine are that Steam Machine review units have been shipped out. I can confidently say I have not been shipped a review unit for the Steam Machine, and I'm not under an NDA, so I can talk about this stuff pretty easily. Anyways, here the latest rumors are that some creators have, and testers too, have Steam Machine review units. Additionally here, it's not just the Steam Machine. It's also being reported that, well, rumored I guess, that the Steam frame has also started shipping. So taking a look, here is the latest and greatest, and this is from Steam Hardware Updates over on Twitter. Announcement for hardware reservations and prices expected between June 22nd to June 30th. Reviewers are actively receiving Steam Machine and Steam Frame units, and they did include a photo, so it looks like this is more real than fake. I mean, where there's smoke, there's fire. There's also going to be a space possibly for faceplates. Unsure if they're shipping by default. Creators' embargo seems to be due to lift on hardware reviews after June 23rd. Which is really interesting. And also it's unclear whether Steam Machine and Frame are launching simultaneously, but that seems it might be likely. Let me know your thoughts about that. Everything is tightly wrapped up right now. I'm assuming someone is going to break embargo, someone is going to break the NDA, and we're going to learn more about this pretty quick. But at the same time here, I mean, if you're looking forward to the Steam Machine or the Steam Frame, this might be very exciting. Maybe up your alley, stuff like this, maybe up my alley, who knows. And speaking about stuff that might be up your alley, next up here we're talking about Anbernic. And if you've got an Anbernic handheld here, you might be excited to learn this information. I mean, news like this is up my alley, and it's probably up yours too. Anbernic finally begins selling replacement parts for its handhelds. And there's a whole lot of stuff here. The shell, the screen, conductive rubber pads, joysticks, batteries, motherboards, and buttons. Now, I, for one, am really excited for this. I mean, I've got a number of Anbernic handheld devices, and a number of them could use some TLC. I mean, my trusty 353V that I use for camping has, it's seen better days, and it's definitely in a shape. I'll say that. Being fully transparent here, I've been migrating to different devices for camping because my 353V is it's borderline unusable at this point. You know, being outside in the wilderness, sometimes getting rained on, sometimes sitting in front of the campfire, just taking in all that smoke. Anyway, it's I'm looking forward to this. So let me know your thoughts on this one over here, but the article is up on Retro Handhelds. I recommend checking it out. It's really well written. There's a lot of information here. And there's also there's a really interesting statement. Listen to this. I suspect we might see some people in the community try to take advantage of this as an opportunity to build something wild. I'd be really curious about that if someone decided to use these parts to build their own Frankenstein Anbernic device. Who knows? I mean, we see stuff like this all the time in the community, and I wouldn't put it past anyone to go out and try to create their own device. Let me know your thoughts. And speaking about gaming handhelds and stuff now available, next up we're talking about the Retroid Pocket 6 12 gig variant. And Retroid has made this one available again, but they have made some tweaks to it that haven't been met with a whole lot of positivity. So for those who are unaware, the Retroid Pocket 6 has 12 gigs of RAM. I was about to say 12 gigs of storage. 12 gigs of RAM, 128 gigs of storage here, and 3 color options, silver, 16-bit, and black. All options are in stock, but they have downgraded the speed here. They went from UFS 4.0 to UFS 3.1. So for those who already have a Retroid Pocket 6, I would say you've got the best version possible. The downgrade in storage is, well, it's a result of the current economic and global conditions for both pricing and parts availability. And we've seen this in other handhelds too. I mean, Retroid is not unique here. I would say it's nice that they're trying to get something done and everything they can done, but at the same time, it's a real unfortunate byproduct, not even a byproduct, just a direct impact of AI and all of this stuff. And last up here, we're switching from hardware to games that would run on the hardware we just talked about, and that is Game Boy Advance. So Game Boy Advance Jam 2026 was just announced up on itch.io. There's still a whole lot of time left, over 3 months left, and the prize pool on this one is over $1,400. For those unfamiliar with these game jams, there's a lot of really cool homebrew games that usually emerge as a result of them. Taking a look at the itch.io page, it doesn't appear there's any big theme here, so it's kind of wide open, and I'm curious to see what submissions there are here. And usually I take a look at some of these games too, give them a play and see how they are, because sometimes there's some really cool gems. Anyways, taking a look as well, there will be no AI allowed in this. No AI assets, no AI assistance, nothing allowed in terms of AI for this game jam. But anyways, that is all I've got for you in this one. Straight to the point, all stuff and no fluff, unless you saw some fluffs in the background. Given the fact that we've got some thunder, some rain has been coming down sporadically. Fortunately, I've been able to miss it. A lot of the fluffs have been hiding quite a bit. You can still hear some birds though. But we talked about a bunch today, so let me know your thoughts about anything we talked about in the comments below. If you like this video, leave a like. If you didn't like this video, leave a like. Hit that subscribe button, check out my other videos. Don't tempt fate, save your state.